with 2 lines from the bottom. Chalaf Alphabet, 2 lines from the bottom. Chalaf Alphabet Beis. Tanu Rabbanon. This is regarding the Isha Sifas Torah. A person's at war, and he's attracted to a non-Jewish woman who Torah refers to her as a beautiful woman. He's attracted to her. It says, and you see her in captivity. Re'isa b'ashivyo. B'shash shviyo. Meaning when you're taking her as a captive, you have in mind not to take her to sell as a slave, but rather to take her as what? As a woman to cohabit with. We'll see in a moment. Rashi says, "Im nosa mitchila einav bov lo shluchu lemochro o leshivcho." He didn't take her initially to sell her or to take her as a servant, as a slave woman. And then subsequently, all of a sudden, he was attracted to her. He was attracted to her immediately. We're talking about he was sexually attracted to the woman. There's a famous Orach Chaim HaKadosh on this. Who goes to war? Only the greatest tzaddikim. So we're talking about a man of the Chofetz Chaim is going to the battlefront, and he's attracted to a non-Jewish woman. You understand? How do we even relate to this? There's a whole lengthy discussion over there. We'll discuss in a minute what happens if she's not beautiful. She's ugly as sin, and you're attracted to her also. Because it says, v'chashakta bo. Right? If you desire, regardless, even if she's not beautiful. Also. So what's the basis for the attraction? He has a whole lengthy discussion over there. It has to do with the souls. That he says that we find Rus HaMovia. Rus, she was a special neshama. Right? Evidently, David HaMelech was her grandchild. She was a special neshama. So, what happened to her? She was a Moabite. She was Moab. She was a princess, a non-Jewish princess. So how did such a special neshama end up in a Gentile body? So he explains. He says after the Chet of Adam Rishon, the Sitra Achra, the Samach Mem, captured special souls, captured them, and did not allow them to gravitate to become part of the chosen people. As a result of that, said they were entombed. These neshamas were kept captives. Rus HaMovia was one of those neshamas, or Nama, Amonis. There are times in history where Hashem, for whatever reason, for a schus, for klaus, whatever it is, they're released. Hashem releases the grip of Sodom, Sitra Achra, and they're able to become Jewish. And that was Rus. So he says, I'm telling you, Orach Chaim HaKadosh. He says, same thing he says, you're attracted to a woman, you're a tzaddik. These thoughts never entered into why all of a sudden am I being attracted? Evidently, there's something within that woman, which is what? Which is holy. It's not coming from impure. It has nothing to do with impurity. But of course, we guess have to see how it plays out. Will she convert? Will she not convert? He has a whole lengthy discussion. It's worthwhile to see it over there. There's no Yetzirah. No. I understand that. The overwhelming, but still, it's within a context. The way it manifests itself in desire. But because the only way you're able to draw that out is only if you're affected to that degree. You say so. Okay. Let's see. No, it's adultery. When he's attracted to a single woman, it's not permitted. The Torah says specifically. First, we're going to war against our enemies over here.
Yes, but American soldiers fighting in Germany, they could have fallen upon a Jewish woman among the Germans.
Okay, but the Torah is speaking about specifically a non-Jewish woman. So with this, it's very good, right? We're not talking about it's to capture the soul. It's to bring the soul back in. into the fold, so to say. Ashes, she's called Ashes Yifas Torah. What is the connotation of Ashes? Afil Ashes Ish. Even if she's a married woman. A non-Jewish married woman, although there's a Torah violation, even for a Jew, besides cohabiting with a non-Jewish woman, there's a prohibition, there's a separate additional Isser, prohibition. She's married, Torah permits this. Afil Ashes Ish. Yifas Torah. What is the connotation of Yifas Torah? Lo dibra Torah lo kenegdi yitzhara. The Torah over here, the reason why it permits it is because it allows you to be able to contend with the evil inclination. Mutav sheyochlu boset Yisrael boset musos shchutos val yochlu boset musos nevelos. We have in the Chulin, if you have an animal that's about to die, so if it dies, it's considered nevelo. It's not ritually slaughtered. You're not permitted to eat it. So the person, right before it dies, he does shechita. So even though the meat is kosher, it's not really appropriate to eat that meat. Because since it was on the brink of death, and you just got it under the wire on a qualitative level, it's something you should stay away from. So a person would say, well, it's like almost like a sickly animal. I'm not talking about on a physical level, even on a spiritual level. It was because it was bordering on death. So shechita, even though it's permitted, but it's better not to. Better not to eat it. Yechezkel HaNavi said, I'd eat that kind of meat I wouldn't eat from. Wouldn't eat from that meat. Over here also, a person's in a precarious position. It's better he should cohabit with her in a permitted state, although it's not something we encourage. Because if we wouldn't permit it, he's going to violate. That's how overwhelming the desire is for this woman. It's like eating basa nevelo. It's eating non-kosher meat. Better we should permit it in a kosher context than in a forbidden context.
If a Jewish man cohabits with a married non-Jewish woman, under the nullified laws, that woman is liable for the death.
Correct.
And the man, what is the liability?
Nothing. I mean, it's koris.
Correct.
Koris.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it should be.
Jew.
Yeah, but the court will not prosecute him or put him to death for this.
It's a big
Definitely.
liability.
I'll give you an example. We find Pinchas killed Zimri. Why did he kill Zimri? Because he cohabited with Cosby. Asur. Because there's a halacha l'mashmi Sinai, there was a law ordained at Sinai that bola aramis, that a person who cohabits with a non-Jewish woman in a public setting, where it's public knowledge, if a person's a true zealot, he has a right to kill him. Okay? What about if nobody knows about it? So if you have a right to kill him when it's public knowledge, what does that say about, is it because it's chil Hashem, only chil Hashem? So chil Hashem at that level, Torah says you permit it, if you're a true zealot, you have a right to kill him. But what does it say if a person does a chil Hashem? Are you permitted to kill him? You're not permitted for a person who just violates the law of chil Hashem. You're not permitted to kill the person. But in this context, you're permitted. So evidently, it's only because it's in the context of cohabiting with a non-Jewish woman. Chil Hashem coupled with that. But what about it with being private? Because there's a question, the person is given an ultimatum, either cohabit with a non-Jewish woman or we're going to put you to death. Is that classified as one of the three cardinal sins that you have to give your life for? Is that Gilui Arayos? Cited in Halacha, that if a person is given the ultimatum, either cohabit with a non-Jewish woman or we're going to put you to death, we're going to kill you, you have to give your life. Right? Why? Because since we see Kanoim, the way that the Beis Yosef explains it, the Kesef Mishnah, since we see that in the public setting, the Kanoim Pogimbo, he is put to death, that reveals that it's minimally koris. So we're talking about a sexual relationship which carries liability of koris. So a person is told, cohabit with your sister, commit incest, or we're going to kill you if you don't. The person has to give his life. He's not permitted to cohabit with a sister. No, that's because that was Lamig the Milsa. That's Gemara Shabbos. No. Because that's a breach of modesty. The Bezdin has a right to do certain things right? Because it was so inappropriate, it would have breached all the laws of modesty. That's what. Yeah, it has nothing to do with this. It has nothing. Yeah, of course, she was Jewish, that woman. Right. They said also a person rode a horse on Shabbos. Even though we say Chai, no say Satzmo, they put them to death. Together. Mara brings both stories.
So this word Eishes comes to teach that Jewish man may have relations with married non-Jewish.
Correct.
Which is a big deal, as we just talked about, just in terms of the penalties on both sides.
What the Torah permits.
What the Torah permits. So we had a big discussion in the last few days about whether a Kohen is allowed to do this.
So we had...
Because of the status of a Kohen. But you would say, just on this particular thing, if a Jew is prepared to encroach on the adultery, which is even a bigger deal than a Kohen marrying and engaging with a shiksa, just in terms of the penalties involved. Maybe that would weaken the argument about a Kohen.
Wait, one second. Rava said, it was the Machlokes of Rav and Shmuel.
Shmuel said okay.
No, just the opposite.
Rav
Rav, but what was the reason why it was okay? Everybody agrees it's okay. Everybody, even the first cohabitation, the first version was everybody agrees. Exactly because of this. Because the question is he permitted to retain her as a wife? That's the first. The second version is, the Torah says it's only okay if you could take her as a wife. We're not going to just let you be the predator animal, just to rape a woman and just throw her away. There has to be some degree of humanity here. So if there's a chance you may take her as a wife, then we'll permit it. But to just let loose and be uncontrolled, the Torah will not allow that.
You said a few minutes ago that the Torah allows this because humans might not be able to control themselves. That sounds to me more like a rabbinic adjustment. Typically, we would think the Torah would tell us what's right and wrong, and then the rabbis would make an adjustment to deal with human frailty.
This is not a human frailty. This is a reality.
Which is a human frailty.
But that's the nature of the human being. That's just the nature of the person. It's almost an impossibility not to cross that line. So if the Torah is not going to put, why is a test a test? Because you're able to resist the test. But if you can't resist the test, it's not a test. This is one of the things which it's nearly impossible to resist. So if that's the case, if the person is going to violate in either case, rather than condemning him doing something wrong, the Torah permits it. Is it considered qualitative? Are you a tzaddik for doing it? The answer is you're not a tzaddik for doing it. I mean, we find David HaMelech. I mean, the Tosfos has difficulty with Rashi. We'll see the next page. David HaMelech, where was Avshalom? Avshalom was a Ben Yifas Torah. He was the son. His mother was a princess, a non-Jewish princess, and he was born, he was conceived, and as what? Or Tomer and Amnon, the story. It's the Gemara Sanhedrin. Okay? The Gemara asks a question. The Gemara juxtaposes Ben Sora More to Eshish Fas Torah. What's the value of the juxtaposition? To tell us that if you take a Fas Torah, ultimately there's a good chance the son is going to be a rebellious son. So therefore, Avshalom, being a child of such a wife, that's why he had such a son. So Gemara asks a question. What, David didn't know this? David didn't know this. So the Gemara says, the Gemara deals with this. David was one of the leading Torah sages of Klal Yisrael. He was a Rosh Yeshiva David. Right? So the Gemara answers that David made a mistake because he wasn't Dorish Smuchim. Interpreting the Torah based on juxtaposition is one of the means of interpretation that was given at Sinai. He held that in Mishnah Torah, one doesn't interpret the Torah based on juxtaposition. So because he didn't know this, therefore he made this mistake. But if he would have known that, he wouldn't have. He would. So you see, knowing the consequence, a person could resist. You could resist. Let's say a person has a desire to have a sexual relation with a woman who has AIDS and every sexual disease. The man has to be out of his mind. Are you going to die for this? For some reason, that desire automatically is what? Is diffused. Is lessened. Because he understood it. David, if he would have understood the consequence of Ben Sora Moreh, that this is that, he would have stayed away from it. That would have deflated his desire immediately.
How does the Earth find here is? Because he seems to be saying that this is all part of the divine plan to rescue the special soul. But here we're saying that to stay away from that. But God wants their souls to be useful. That's sort of difficult.
It's interesting. Sodom, he always gets his pound of flesh. That's his pound of flesh. The woman is a special soul, but you understand, you're going to pay the price. You're going to pay a pound of flesh for that. The heartache you're going to have from this, it's interesting. There's a Shalach Kodesh. Shalach Kodesh explains, says that a husband's conjugal obligation to his wife is at certain times, so many times, but the night of the mikveh, right? Leil Tefillah, there's an obligation of, it's called Leil, there's an obligation of Ona, conjugal obligation. Leil Tefillah, why? What's the reason? He says something interesting. He says, the quality of the neshama, of the soul, that's another Orachaim Kodesh in Tazria. It says, Isha ki sazriya v'yolda zocher. It says, when a woman conceives, she gives birth to a male. What do you mean, when she conceives, she gives birth to a male? It takes 9 months. It's not when you conceive, you give birth to a male. So he explains that the quality of the soul is already determined at the time of conception. Now, it's just a question of time now. The child has to gestate, develop. It's a 9-month period. But whatever that child is already determined from time of conception. Because the neshama enters into the child at that moment. Now, what determines the quality of that soul? The quality of the parents, the intent of the parents. Right? The purity of intent. That will determine the quality of many neshamos that a person could draw into that child. The basis for that neshama is based on the quality of the spiritual quality of the person. Okay? So therefore it's Isha ki sazriya v'yolda zocher. So take a look at Orachaim HaKodesh, beginning of Tazria. So he writes to Shalom, Satan doesn't want to have too many tzaddikim in this world. Satan doesn't want to have tzaddikim. Gives him a little bit of a problem. So what does he do? So it's impossible to fulfill your obligation of procreation unless there's a sexual desire. So it's like walking a tightrope. Here you have sexual desire, but simultaneously, as the Rambam says, Nilchos Deos, you should not cohabit like an animal, but rather there should be a mindset of purity. You want to have a child, to be a tzaddik, this, that, to serve God. It's a tightrope. Here it's this, but it's that. Satan interferes with that thought because he doesn't want a more special neshama to be born. The Leil Tefillah is not so simple. That means a person stayed away from his wife when she wasn't permitted to. This is going against the grain of a human being. Factually, there's an attraction, husband and wife. So because the person suppressed his desire for his wife when she was off limits to him, Mida Keneged Mida, Hashem says, Leil Tefillah, when she becomes permitted, Satan's not interfering with you. That's why Leil Tefillah is special. The first time the wife becomes permitted to the husband, the Shalom writes, a person has a shmira. From the Satan, he doesn't allow him to infiltrate your mind that you should be able to have a better quality child at that moment. Okay? So I'm saying, Eishis Vastor, she's the special soul. Satan always gets his pound of flesh, or he tries to get his pound of flesh. You do this, you're going to pay the price. Ben Sora Mora. That's the kind of child you're going to have. What? The Eishis Vastor. Yeah.
Saying that it's colored by your intention initially.
Okay. What? Pas Pasalo? Just the opposite. So Maim Genuvim Toku. Stolen waters are sweeter. Something that's not, you're more attracted to something that's not permitted to you. Just the opposite. Something's permitted to you, you're less attracted to.
Right, so that's why
No, but he's asking something else. Where do we find the Torah permits something, although it's something which is really not spiritual, qualitatively on a spiritual level? It's not quality on a spiritual level. It's referring to as basat temusos. It's like the animal's about to die, right under the wire, you slaughter it. Because the answer is, if you wouldn't, you can eat it as nevela. That's exactly what it's saying. Okay.
What do you mean you eat it as an available? I mean, there's nothing wrong with the dangerously ill animal. You can eat that animal.
I understand, but factually, on a spiritual level, it's something which you should not eat. You should not eat it. Yecheskel didn't eat. Yecheskel Anovi did not eat of that meat. For instance, I'll give you an example. We have the Gemara Chulin. The Gemara says Yecheskel Anovi would only eat only from a Sudas mitzvah. If it wasn't a Sudas mitzvah, he would not eat. Would not eat of the food. Why? It's permitted. Because in terms of the person, in terms of the way it affects you positively or negatively, it has a certain negative effect.
Right, but the one is permitted, the first
It's permitted.
is permitted, but the second one is
It's not permitted at all.
permitted at all.
That's
So
exactly what it's saying.
the
The Torah is permitting it by saying you could do it. But what it tells you to do what? Is it something that it's better to shy away from? It's better to shy away from. But the reality is people won't shy away from it. So as a result of that, the Torah says it's permitted. It's like slaughtering the animal that's about to die. Okay. V'choshakto. What does that you desire her? If she's a beautiful woman, it's understood. Why are you being attracted to her? So what does that say? V'choshakto. You desire al pi she'eino noh. Although she's not beautiful. For whatever reason. For whatever reason he's attracted. V'choshakto. Exactly. No, somebody would say, and you're asking a good question. In his eyes, she's beautiful. So what's v'choshakto? No. It's evidently, even in the eyes of the person, she's not beautiful. But for some reason, yes, somebody say to him, how did you marry this woman? He says, you know something? I don't know. I don't know what got into me. No, seriously. V'choshakto. The Gemara is, in Machlokes B'Sham Beis Hillel in Ksubis. You know, do you say Kala Nova Chasudo, or do you say Kala Kamoshehi? A woman's as ugly as sin, and you're saying how beautiful and how pleasant she is. Beis Shammai says you're not permitted to say it. Dvar Sheka Tirchop. No, that's Beis Shammai. Dvar Sheka Tirchop. So Beis Hillel says to Beis Shammai, no, you're permitted to say it. A man goes to the market and he purchases something, and he thinks he bought a phenomenal buy. So you tell the person, what's wrong with you? Beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. He thinks he had a good buy. It's a good buy. He thinks she's beautiful, as they say, gesundheit. We believe it. Good. But chashakta means no. Even though he's not attracted to her because of beauty, it's purely a sexual attraction. It has nothing to do with beauty. Nevertheless, Torah permits this. You say there's a beauty. You say it's understandable. What does that have to say b'chashakta? You'd say humanly, beauty, it's difficult. There's something wrong with this man. No, b'chashakta. Even if you have a desire, unrelated, purely sexual, the Torah permits it. B'chashakta bo. That's the, see, take a look. You learn the Orach Chaim HaKodesh. You'll see.
Here we're dealing with a very special environment. It's the heat of the battle. One is sexually attracted to anything.
Okay, I hope there are no dogs running around the trenches. Okay. Okay, Rabbi has a very, creative mind. Okay. Bo. It says, choshakta bo. What's the bo? In her. Bo v'lo bo b'chaverta. Is he permitted to have more than one woman? Or just one? One, not more than one. V'lo b'chaverta. No, during this period of time. During this period of time. It's only once, not more than once. Torah is not permitted more than once. It's a different war. I don't know if it's the same skirmish. Let's say he goes out tomorrow, it's a new battle. He fought many battles. No, that was different. He never fought. No, what are you talking about? A few hundred. What are you talking about? No, so the Gemara explains what that means. Doesn't mean that. V'lokachto. What is v'lokachto? L'kuchen yesh l'chabo. Now, this is interesting. Normally, when a woman converts to become a Jew, she has to be agreeable. You can't force it upon her. Rashi says, kiddushin tovsim alpi shoyso veres kochovim. She was literally an idolater. Shere'enum is gayeres midato. She's not willing to convert her on her own. It's being forced upon her. Even though it's being forced upon her, nevertheless, it's a valid conversion. That's what the Torah says. Look, l'kuchin yesh klabo. L'cho l'isho. Shlo yikach shtei noshim achas lo v'achas lo aviv. Person figures, look. He has two sisters, two princesses. One for himself, one for his father. Why not? No. You're only permitted to take a woman for yourself, not for your brother, not for your son, not for your father. What does there say? And then you bring her into your household. Now there's Machlokes Rashi who tells what this means. You should not afflict her in war, meaning on the battlefront. So Rashi says, the way Tosam says Rashi, you're not permitted to cohabit with her until she converts. Until she converts. Tosas has many problems with Rashi. So as a non-Jew, the Torah does not permit you to cohabit with a non-Jew. Tosas asks, but if the reason why we're justifying this whole action here is because he can't control his desire, so you say, when you get back from the battlefront, then you'll take her as a wife, after you convert her. So what about, we said, the Torah is contending here with the evil inclination of the person, right? Rashi says, in battle, you're not permitted to. I mean, you can learn Rashi means more than once. Once, yes. Beyond that, once, not. No, but he was permitted to her in that context. He was permitted to her. That's paspasalo. That's paspasalo. You have food in the cupboard, you can wait till tomorrow to eat. Because anytime you want to eat, you could eat. But now on the battlefront, you can't cohabit with her. So she's not permitted to you. Right? She's not permitted. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference.
It comes that eventually, and that calms him down and looks for it.
But it's not.
But after the battle, he gets back to senses. He's not going to do it altogether.
Yeah, but the Gemara says, "Lo dibra Torah l'keneged yitzarah." So what does the Torah do? The reason why the Torah is permitting it is because the person has an uncontrollable desire. So when does he have desire on the battlefront? You say, you wait 3 months when we're back from the front. Then we'll talk about it. Okay. No. What do you mean?
Everyone says be a Rishon is mutar.
Be Rishona.
Right.
I mean, he asked these questions. Tosas has about 3-4 questions on Rashi. Let's take a look at Tosas. No, it says, no, the Torah says. Bochses of Ives Imo. I mean, the Gemara is not coming to explain that. It's not coming to explain. That's the Pasuk. It says she cries for her mother and father. That means she has to detach herself from idolatry.
Okay, but she also has to learn about a new environment, a new religion.
So she'll be taught.
It doesn't say it here.
It's not the purpose of the Gemara right now. We're talking about the relationship. In what context are you permitted to take her? That's already a convert.
We put so much importance today in conversion, the woman having to acquire.
That's what we say. This is Balkor. This is forced upon her.
The forced conversion.
This is a Chiddush HaTorah. This is out of the ordinary. A normal circumstance, this is not a valid conversion.
Yes.
Here it's valid. In this context, it's valid.
But still, doesn't she have to acquire some knowledge?
Okay. Shlo yichutzena b'mechama. Pish b'kutris lovo loeb mashma. Mitoch pirusha. It seems from Rashi what he said. The milchama also lovo oleo kol iker. He's not permitted to cohabit her whatsoever as a non-Jew. Va'afil bi rishona ein muter ad la'acha kol ha'masim. Until the whole process is completed, he's not permitted. V'temo. So what is the whole discussion in the Gemara? Torah is only addressing the evil inclination of the person. How does the person satisfy his Yitzhara? right? He has this uncontrollable desire. You say, well, wait till he's 65, then we'll talk about it. The process is minimally a month. Even if he comes back, it says for 30 days. She bemoans her past. So Rashi already answered that. Why would you call it Basat Musos? It's like slaughtering an animal before it dies. She's converted. Yeah, but Rashi says, what kind of conversion is it? There's not a quality conversion. Of course, this is being forced upon her. So that's the Basat Musos. Right? So the second question he's asking is not such a serious question. What? The old kosher. The story of Amnon and Tamar. David had 2 children. They fell in love with each other. Amnon desired Tamar and she desired him. And he says, you know something? I want to marry you. She said to Amnon, her brother, go speak to our father David. If he permits it, not a problem, we'll get married. So the question is, if you say that you're permitted to cohabit, and they were children of a princess, of a Yifas Torah. So if you say you're permitted to cohabit with them, with a woman when she's not Jewish, let's say a person has relations with a non-Jewish woman, she conceives, and before the birth, she converts. And then she conceives after she's converted. Are these 2 siblings, biologic siblings, are they related Jewishly? They're not related Jewishly. Because the conception was before she was Jewish. A woman conceives as a shiksa, and then she converts, and by the time the child's born, the child's a Jew. The father's not the father of that child. Right? Because the child was conceived. What? She has no father. There's no father. It's like having a child from a non-Jewish woman, and the child converts after the child's born. Right? The child's unrelated to the father. Right? So the same thing. So if the conception took place before the mother converted, the child's not Jewish. The father's not. So you could say that's the case of Amnon and Tamar. They were only biologically related. They weren't halachically related. But according to Rashi, that the only time you're permitted to cohabit is only after the conversion. So if that's the case, what is even the consideration? They're full brother and sister. Right? That's Tosa's question on Rashi. Vot kosher, Yehodam per based the Sanhedrin. Tamar bas Yifas Torah hoiso. Tamar was the daughter of Yifas Torah. Her mother was taken in captivity. V'choisu muteres la'Amnon. Therefore, she's permitted to Amnon. Kirichsiv, daber olai el hamelech, ki lo yimneini mincho. She says to her brother Amnon, who desired her, speak to our father, the king. He'll permit it. V'im lo bo dover al macho, im Tamar ad la'achar. Im Tamar ad la'achar kol hamasim. But if David only cohabited with Machu, who was the mother, only after she converted, hey, choisu muteres la'Amnon, v'hi achosim mi'oviv, hoiso. Shrei Ein Tamar Mocher La'achar Kol HaMasim Chashuv Giores Ulkulchin Yesh Labo. It was his wife. David married her. She was conceived from his wife. So if that's the case, it's a brother and sister. So what's even the consideration? The Bishloma im the first Yifas Torah Muteres Miyad. If you say she's permitted immediately on the battlefront, Shapir. So the Gemara, we are able to understand the Gemara. My dekamra Tamar lo yimnei mincha fisha hoisa muteres lo. The equal sabra ima b'milchama, that she already conceived on the battlefront from the first act. Shadayin hoisa imo veres kochavim, because time of conception the mother was still not Jewish. V'zuene chashuv kibito shel David. So halachically, Tamar was not David's daughter. Dein ben abomin al veres kochavim korei bintcha ela beno. The Vladovich Kochavin Kamosa, the child of a non-Jew, has the same status she does. But according to Rashi, he's not permitted till the whole procedure. Kosh Pirashti, be continued.